inside. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Chat. My name is Don Walmsley, your host for this episode. And with me is Diane Martin, the president of the Miles for Mental Health Nipawin chapter. Welcome, Diane.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we'll get right into it. Miles for Mental Health. What is it? I mean, everything has a sort of a vision and a mission statement. What is Miles for Mental Health?
Our mission statement, as outlined in our Constitution, it's quite a detailed outline in the Constitution, but essentially our purpose is to raise awareness about mental health and with the purpose of reducing stigma that is associated with conversations about mental health. And we're also very committed to encouraging people to use physical activity as a means of improving emotional well-being.
Now, so when did the chapter start here?
2017 actually is when we were created, and we became a charitable organization in 2019.
So how many active sort of members? I mean, there's probably people at large that engage and participate, but your sort of coordinating body, how many?
Well, that has varied. At one point in time, we had probably 8 or 9 on the board. We're now at around 4 or 5 people. The board has been in flux recently. Some of my board members have been part of the board since inception in 2017. That's a long time for people who are working, have young families, have lots of other commitments, and life changes, so people's commitments change, and their ability to be involved also changes with that. But so to answer your question, right now we probably have 5 board members, and recruiting is an ongoing kind of process.
Who are those present board members?
Well, it's kind of hard to say because some of them are questioning their ability to stay on. So I probably shouldn't mention names just in case I'm
fair enough. No, that's
mentioning a name of someone who has decided
yes,
not able to continue.
Now, obviously, you do a tremendous amount of promotion, and part of that promotion involves events and activities. And over the years since you've started, there was the Miles for Mental Health run. We spoke briefly the impact of COVID on all sorts of organizations and functions that used to happen before. It's changed that nature. So what are some of the key things that you've been doing to raise awareness?
Well, as you mentioned, we had the Miles for Mental Health Fun Run. That was our sort of inaugural event that we hosted for 3 years, and that was a big event that involved a run, walk, not competition, but participation for every age and stage.
Yeah, it was a really quite a family thing. Families came from all over. It was wonderful to see.
Yes. And so as part of that, we had a 5 and 10K run, a 5 and 1K walk. We had children's activities. Then we also had a speaker at each of those 3 years events. The first one was Big Daddy Taz.
I remember that.
Who a great personality to set the tone, and so we had those for 3 years, and then, as you said, COVID shut everything down, so we had to get creative. And during COVID, we engaged in a number of smaller outreach kinds of activities. And I brought this little bag that
cool.
is something that we had created through promo time. And it's a backpack style bag. And
neat.
we use those for outreach to seniors and to families with young children. So during COVID, we made arrangements to deliver a bag like that to the senior folks who were isolated and not able to be out and about doing anything. There were things like tea and chocolate and a deck of cards, some activity kinds of books, items like that we hoped would offer a little bit of comfort and support and connection, to let people know that you are in our thoughts and we'll do whatever we can to support from a distance. For young families, it was a similar kind of concept, but the contents of the bags was different. We had things like I think there was cake mixes, for example, so that kids and parents could bake a cake together, and there was books of little card games or board games that they could play as a family, that kind of content. We did that, and then once we were able to be out in the community more, we've had involvement with a number of different organizations that promote our purpose. One of the prime examples is our Mums Morning Out program. That happens it's forward once a month this year. Last year it was twice a month. It was so well received that we had to do something, because we had up to 15 babies arriving for this morning, and we'd always have a program of some kind for the moms to participate in. It might be making a Christmas arrangement, or it might be a yoga class, or it might be a speaker talking about nutrition or postpartum depression. I mean, a whole range of those kinds of opportunities for the moms. And while they were doing that, their children were being looked after by volunteers, and so that's been a very positive and beneficial.
Well, as you mentioned with your vision statement, talking about the mental health, and it is one of those things that is pervasive. It doesn't matter age, it doesn't matter demographic, it doesn't matter circumstance. It can impact anyone at any time, and the effects vary. And for so long has been that silent kind of condition. People didn't want to talk about it. There was issues around perception of who you are if you revealed, a so-called weakness or whatever.
Yes.
And as you talked about the stigma, since now, I take it Miles for Mental Health has been around longer than 2017, correct? As an organization, as a network.
No. This was created here in Neepawa.
Oh, so was there any kind of supportive organization that already existed that provided any sort of background, or you just created this out of nothing? Oh, well, I'm surprised. I didn't know that, and that's wonderful news. That's amazing.
Yes.
So you've done, you've really come a long way. With regards to the stigma, because I know that has been a concern, and various initiatives over the last, at least certainly the last couple of decades for sure, to try and make inroads around that. How are you feeling you're doing with that? How would you even measure that?
Well, really, I don't know that we can, other than the feedback that we receive. And the outreach, the programs that we have been involved with, that we are involved with, I believe are testament to the success. I mentioned Mom's Morning Out. Another program that has been in operation for, I think, 3 years now. Started as the Girls Fit Club that is run by Tara McCarty. And Tara started the group as a way of getting young girls, like I think age 12 is where they started. I could be wrong on that. But kids that maybe aren't into sports or maybe aren't into music, or just need some additional support in their life. And she provides a program that involves, again, the same kinds of things: physical activities plus some educational, emotional support opportunities. And then last year she started a Boys Fit Club, same concept. So now the two groups, I believe, are up to a total of over 50 kids.
Oh wow, that's
participating.
amazing.
It is.
That's
it's
really
great.
good.
And so we get, the positive feedback is evident in the numbers of kids that participate. And I think that really does reduce the stigma, because it's not promoted as a mental health program, but it's that connection that is made unconsciously.
Well, when your use of the term connection, I think, is so right on, because it is about connections, isn't it? It's about people feeling connected.
Yes.
It's about people figuring out how to connect. It's really nice to hear that. And that's we should probably talk to Tara about the program at some point in time as well.
Yes, that'd be
in follow-up.
yeah.
I think that's
Yes.
amazing. So,
Yes.
so along the way, you certainly will have encountered some challenges. What have you found to be the biggest challenge, or a couple of them?
Well, I guess we spoke about this earlier. The momentum, maintaining the momentum, and keeping the board members, not keeping them engaged. I don't want to suggest they're not, but trying to find people that are interested in helping out. It's not a big commitment. When we have an event, yes, we need
Yes.
we need all hands on. But for the most part, it's not a huge commitment. But it is something that is. It's not like a service club. It's not like other organizations. So you have to have that perspective, that interest, that.
Well, and I would think
focus, I guess.
a lot of what will happen is people who engage either have felt these challenges themselves, or know somebody, or have a family member. So there's some sort of resonance in terms of the need for this kind of organization. Do you promote in any particular way, or is it more sort of connections, word of mouth, that kind of thing?
More word of mouth, I would say. Yes. But I think that's happening. We are becoming more known, just in that way. For example, last week there was a gallery opening lunch event at Arts Forward, and it was an art gallery opening for two women, Faye and Leanne Crammond. And over the last little while, when we've had gallery openings scheduled at Arts Forward, our administrator has made the gallery opening into also a fundraising event, and by connecting the artists with an organization that they are interested in. So, for example, the last gallery event that we had, the artist was very involved in wildlife artwork. And so the TNR Cat Rescue was the organization that was connected with that gallery opening.
Yes.
Okay, so last week, Faye and Leanne had chosen Miles for Mental Health.
Oh, cool.
Because of their particular interest in mental health. So those kinds of things are, not promoting, not seeking.
It's a more sort of
way.
organic or subtle approach as opposed to billboards and posters and things like that.
Yeah, we've also been involved with the Men's Shed.
Yes.
Yes. So, again, a very beneficial group for men in the community who are looking for somewhere to go, something to do, some people to hang out with a couple of times a week. And they get involved in projects, and if that's not your jam, that's fine. Just come and have coffee and help in any way that you can. And that group has really expanded and been involved in
because
lots of projects.
That's still a fairly new group as well.
Yeah.
But serving the same kind of purpose, so to speak, as Miles for Mental Health.
Yes.
It's that opportunity to get together, to connect. That's excellent. Do you have any affiliation with any of the more formalized programs or organizations that are have the same basic kind of mission? Or are you sort of like a standalone group? I'm thinking, because we have mental health workers in the community, we have there are outreach programs and that kind of thing. Is there any kind of connection between them and or is this strictly, this is a local initiative and that's,
Well, connection in the sense that we've had mental health professionals have been part of the board off and on.
Yeah.
And we have donated some funds to organizations like SPIN and I can't remember the name of the group, but it's affiliated with the Winnipeg Jets. Something Project 11, I believe, is what it's called. So those kinds of connections. But no, we are not. We have no connection to
It's been
government.
more by association
It's
than
been
it
by
has been by
association.
any kind of...
Exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's kind of, I think that's very positive because it's coming from within the community. It's part of the community.
Yes.
And, it would be, it's good to have those other kinds of associations. There's no sort of direct affiliation. This is all generated from within. It's, wow, that's quite exciting. So, recruitment or people participating, it's really largely by word of mouth, or if they're attending events or that kind of thing, they may say, hey, I'm interested in helping out. Let's talk about future plans. What are you thinking of going forward? Where would you like to see this going, and what kinds of ways do you find or you feel you're going to be attempting to get there?
Good question. I'm sure you are aware that we had an event October 7th. It was called Community Connects, and it was a wellness fair kind of concept at the Yellowhead. We had, I believe there were about 14 or 15 different organizations represented there. Everything from karate to our local pride group to
just community.
Yes. And so a purpose there was to offer information, education, opportunities for people to learn about what's available for support in the area. And people have said, well, was it a success? Yes, it was, because we had the event and we didn't have a lot of people attending, particularly of the adult population. Lots of kids came with teachers during the afternoon.
Yes.
Not so many of the adults in the community after hours. But we can't measure the success of an event by that.
The mere
by
fact
the
that you had the event
Yes.
and there were people that are interested is success. It's not like, I hear exactly what you're saying. That's amazing, and I think extremely important. Are you looking at doing that again?
Well, I don't know. I think it might be something that happens in a couple of years. I'm not sure it's the kind of thing we would do annually.
You're not making it an annual event,
right.
but rather it's something
Yes.
in your sort of
Yes.
arsenal of things you're doing. You're looking
Correct.
at maybe
Yeah.
doing, are you planning anything different? Do you have anything in the works right now?
Well, I've been thinking about this a lot because I think it's time to maybe do the fun run again. I would really welcome some feedback on that from people who are listening or thinking about other events that could happen.
That I must admit, having been at them, they are a wonderful. They're a family event. You can be single people. There's couples. There's children. It really is another one of those connecting things. I think connection seems to be the theme word.
Absolutely,
of all of this, and
yes.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I think you're wise to take a look. Sometimes we get caught up in the same kind of event as an annual thing, and that works in some cases, but not in all cases. And I think you're looking with such a variety within the spectrum of mental health itself, that having those different things, like your Community Connects may not be, as you said, maybe in a couple of years, but the fun run again, because that was well attended, and a lot of people had a great time, well organized, lots of fun.
Yes.
And honestly, it wasn't terribly time consuming for people who attended. It certainly was for the people who organized it.
Well, and of course that's why we would need more people to join our board and be willing to help with those kinds of things.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. So if you're looking at if you're interested in participating in any kind of way, who would they contact?
Call me.
Just call you.
Call me.
You're in the phone book.
No, I'm not.
Okay, where?
My number is 204-841-0932.
Okay, so let me take that again. 841.
Yes. 0932.
0932.
And we have an email address.
Okay.
It is Miles for Mental Health 1, just the number 1.
Miles 4 is FOR. Mental Health
1 at gmail.com.
Okay. So, just to remind you, if you are at all interested in finding out more information or even participating, the phone number is 204-841-0932, or you can email at milesformentalhealth, and that's all words, 1 at gmail.com. We'll repeat that again at the end. So, you're thinking about the fun run again. When would you look at putting it in place?
Oh, probably sometime in late. The original 3 were in late August.
Yes.
So probably around that time.
Like prior to school, coming back,
Yes,
that kind of thing.
It's really hard to find a time that works for everybody. So
yes.
basically, you choose the time and run with it.
Not a play on words
No,
at
not
all.
at all.
Not a play on words at all. Is there anything else that you would like to sort of make? We haven't covered. You'd like to share?
I think we've covered all the bases, Don. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something else. We've talked about challenges. We've talked about the future. What are you hoping over the next 3 years? What would you like to see that has been achieved or accomplished?
Well, I would really like to see, more people participating in whatever events are happening, and I think that would really be a message that people are understanding that just because this is a Miles for Mental Health event, it doesn't mean that you have a big problem, or that
Yes.
I'm not phrasing that very well, but again, the more we can be open about our needs for emotional support, for mental health wellness, the less stigma there will be attached to the whole.
To use an old phrase, it's normalizing the fact that this just exists and it's present.
Yes.
And
it's very much present.
yes.
More and more.
Well, and we're seeing that, aren't we? That really is a trend that's happening. And the ages, it's certainly becoming well evident that it starts young and it doesn't stop all the way up, and the challenges are there. So again, if you're at all interested, even in finding more information or seeing how you can participate in helping with an event, or sitting on the board, because clearly we all know the boards have turnover and need people to participate. Phone number to reach Diane is 204-841-0932. And the email is milesformentalhealth1. That's the number 1. And the rest is all text at gmail.com. Well, we're sort of coming to the end. Chance for those final words. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Words of wisdom.
Yes.
I don't have a lot of words of wisdom, although I am very wise.
I'm not going to debate that, please. That's not up for debate here. There we go. You are very wise.
I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity to promote our organization in this way. Again, it's connecting, and we can connect with people in a variety of ways. And any of you who are listening in or watching or wanting more information, please feel free to make that call, to send an email, stop me on the street, whatever works for you.
Well, that's great. And also, speaking of promotion, please let us know when you actually decide what you're going to do, if you're going to do a run for fun, so that we can help in that way to get that message out, and to have you yourself or whoever else is involved to come and talk about it and talk about the events and do that kind of thing. It's really all about, as you said, we've talked about connection, and it's about community. So I'd like to thank you very much for coming. I've been speaking with Diane Martin, who is the current president of Miles for Mental Health, a homegrown organization, which is really exciting to hear, and is open to anyone at all within this community. So thank you very much. And on behalf of NACTV, Coffee Chat, and myself, Don Walmsley, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact the station and express those. We'd love to hear from them, and we'll see what we can do to respond. So have a great holiday season, everybody. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. And also cheers to whatever other faith-based groups that may be having things that going on now. Bye.